The room fell silent as the alien delegates walked in. 6 tall beings with blue-gray skin and deep-set eyes moved with grace that seemed impossible for their size. This was humanity's first official meeting with the Galactic Confederation, and everyone felt the weight of history. Captain Samuel Wright stood at attention near the back wall. He wasn't supposed to be part of the diplomatic team, but his superiors wanted a military presence just in case. Sam thought it was a mistake. The aliens might see it as a sign of distrust. "We welcome the representatives of Earth to this historic gathering," said the tallest alien in perfect English. "I am High Counselor Zex of the Confederation." The Earth diplomats bowed slightly. Their leader, Ambassador Lisa Carter, stepped forward with a warm smile. "The people of Earth are honored by this meeting. We hope this marks the beginning of a peaceful relationship between our worlds." Everything was going well. The aliens seemed friendly. The human diplomats were professional. Sam started to relax. That was when the explosion hit. The blast came from somewhere in the ceiling. Sam's military training kicked in immediately. He dove toward the nearest diplomat, trying to shield them from the debris. Through the smoke and chaos, Sam saw shadowy figures entering the room. They weren't human. Their bodies were bulkier than the Confederation delegates with rough, armored skin. Each carried what looked like a weapon. "Vordax extremists," shouted one of the Confederation delegates before a beam of energy struck him in the chest. Sam reached for his sidearm, but it was too late. The attackers moved with frightening speed. Within seconds, 3 of the 6 Confederation delegates lay dead. The others were badly wounded. 2 human diplomats were down as well. Security forces rushed in, but the attackers had already retreated. They left behind only dead bodies and a small device that continued to emit smoke. Sam helped Ambassador Carter to her feet. Blood trickled from a cut on her head. "This is bad," she whispered. "Very bad." She was right. Within hours, the Confederation Council sent a message to Earth. They blamed humanity for the security breach that led to the assassination. The message ended with a simple choice: surrender Earth's independence or face extinction. All attempts to explain or negotiate were met with silence. The Confederation had made up its mind. 2 weeks later, Sam stood in a briefing room at Space Command Headquarters. The wall screen showed satellite images of alien ships gathering at the edge of the solar system. "Their invasion fleet grows larger every day," said General Frank Martinez. "Intelligence suggests they'll attack with at least 300 warships. Standard Confederation invasion protocol." Sam looked around the room. The faces of Earth's top military leaders showed the same grim acceptance. They were outmatched. "We've activated every defense satellite," continued the general. "All military personnel are on high alert. But realistically," he didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. A young aide entered and handed the general a tablet. He read it quickly, his eyebrows rising in surprise. "Captain Wright," he said, looking up. "You're being reassigned." Sam blinked. "Sir, report to Lunar Base Alpha immediately. The U.S. Defiant is being prepared for launch." Sam knew the ship. It was an experimental vessel, the only one equipped with the new quantum displacement drive, a technology still in testing. "With respect, sir, what can one ship do against 300? The general's expression was unreadable. "You're not being sent to fight them, Captain. You're being sent to deliver a message." 3 days later, Sam stood on the bridge of the U.S. Defiant. His new crew was small but elite. Lieutenant Olivia Bennett at navigation, Chief Engineer Alan Garcia at the quantum drive controls, Security Officer Diane Powell checking weapon systems, and Science Officer Kevin Sullivan analyzing data on the alien fleet. "Quantum drive ready, Captain," reported Garcia. His hands moved confidently over the controls of the technology he helped design. Sam took a deep breath. One ship against an armada. A message that might prevent war. "Take us out, Lieutenant Bennett. Let's show the Confederation they were wrong about humanity." The ship hummed as the quantum drive engaged. In a flash of light that rippled like water, The U.S. Defiant vanished from Earth orbit, heading toward an enemy that expected an army, not a single ship with a desperate plan. The U.S. Defiant emerged from quantum space with barely a ripple. Captain Samuel Wright felt his stomach settle as the stars returned to normal around them. Quantum jump complete, Lieutenant Bennett reported. Her fingers moved across the navigation panel. We've arrived at the edge of Confederation space. Sam leaned forward in his command chair. Stealth systems active. Let's see what we're up against. The main screen showed empty space, but the ship's advanced sensors told a different story. Science Officer Sullivan studied the readings with growing concern. Captain, I'm detecting multiple ships, a lot of them. He looked up, his face pale. Over 500 warships. That's nearly double what intelligence predicted. Sam felt a cold knot in his stomach. Earth's defenses couldn't handle 300 ships, let alone 500. Show me, he ordered. The screen changed to show a massive gathering of alien vessels. Each ship was different, some sleek and pointed, others bulky and covered with weapons. The fleet represented many alien species, all united against Earth. Look at the size of those command ships, Security Officer Powell whispered. One of those could level a whole city. Engineer Garcia stood beside the captain. Good thing they can't see us. The stealth system is working perfectly. Sam nodded. Bennett, can you get us closer to that large vessel in the center? I bet that's where the commanders are meeting. Yes, sir. I can plot a series of small jumps between their patrol routes. They'll never know we're there. For the next hour, the Defiant moved quietly through the alien fleet. They were like a mouse sneaking through a house full of sleeping cats. One wrong move would wake the predators. I'm picking up communications, Sullivan said. Their encryption is complex, but our systems are breaking through. He listened through his earpiece. Captain, they're arguing. About what? About Earth. Some of them don't want this war. They're saying the evidence against humans is too thin. Sam raised an eyebrow. Record everything. This could be useful. Powell studied the tactical display. Captain, I've identified a smaller ship with minimal security. Looks like a diplomatic shuttle. If we want more information, that would be our best target. Sam considered their options. His orders were to deliver a message, but first, he needed to understand what they were truly up against. The diplomatic shuttle might contain valuable intelligence. Bennett, can you get us alongside that shuttle without being detected? She smiled. Absolutely, sir. Garcia, prepare for a short-range quantum jump. Powell, get your boarding team ready. We're going to grab their data core. The crew moved with practiced efficiency. Minutes later, the Defiant appeared next to the smaller alien vessel. The stealth technology made them invisible to both eyes and sensors. Powell led a team of 4 in special space suits across the short gap between ships. They attached to the shuttle's hull using magnetic boots. With precision cuts, they created an entry point and slipped inside. We're in, Powell reported through the comm. 2 alien crew members. They're secured and unconscious. No injuries. On the bridge, Sam waited tensely. Every second increased their chance of discovery. Found it, Powell said after 5 long minutes. Data core extracted. We're heading back. Once the team returned safely, Sullivan immediately began analyzing the stolen data. His eyes widened as he worked. Captain, this is incredible. The assassination wasn't carried out by some random extremists. It was an inside job. Someone in the Confederation hired the Vordax to kill their own diplomats. Garcia looked confused. Why would they do that? To create an excuse for war, Sam said grimly. They wanted a reason to attack Earth. Sullivan nodded. Exactly. And according to this data, they're after something specific on our planet. Something they call unique resources. We need to get this evidence to their high command, Sam decided. It might be enough to stop. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. Bennett's hands flew across her console. Captain, they've detected us. Sam straightened in his chair. The game of hide and seek was over. "Battle stations," he ordered. "Looks like we'll be delivering our message sooner than planned." Red lights flashed across the bridge of the U.S. Defiant. Warning signals showed enemy ships turning toward them. "They've spotted us," Lieutenant Bennett said, her voice steady despite the danger. 20 ships moving to surround us." Captain Sam Wright made a quick decision. "Garcia, is the quantum drive ready for another jump?" The engineer looked worried. "Yes, but we need at least 30 seconds to calculate a safe exit point." "We don't have 30 seconds," Security Officer Powell warned. "They're powering weapons." Sam studied the tactical display. The Confederation ships were forming a circle around them, closing in like hunters trapping prey. Normal engines couldn't outrun them. Fighting was suicide. Then an idea struck him, a crazy, impossible idea. "Garcia, can the quantum drive jump within this system? Not out to deep space, but to another position right here." Garcia's eyes widened. "That's not supposed to be possible. The drive wasn't designed for such precise jumps." "But can it be done?" Garcia hesitated, then nodded. "Maybe. Once. The stress might damage the drive." "Do it," Sam ordered. "Take us directly beside the Confederation flagship." Bennett looked shocked. "Sir, that's the last thing they'll expect," Sam finished. "Calculate the jump." The crew worked quickly while enemy ships closed in. The first shots flashed past the Defiant energy beams cutting through space where they had been seconds earlier. "Jump ready in 5 seconds," Garcia announced. 4, 3, 2, 1. The quantum drive hummed, louder than before. The view outside twisted strangely, then snapped back into focus. The Defiant now floated directly beside the massive Confederation flagship, a ship 20 times their size. "It worked," Bennett exclaimed. "They're confused," Sullivan reported, watching the enemy reactions. "Their ships are turning around, looking for us." Sam wasted no time. "Open a direct channel to their flagship. I want to speak to their commander." Sullivan worked the communications panel. "Channel open." "They're responding." The main screen flickered, showing the face of a tall alien with ridge-like features and cold eyes. Behind him, other aliens rushed around what appeared to be their bridge. "This is Supreme Commander Orcs Val of the Confederation Fleet," the alien said in a deep voice. "Identify yourself, human vessel." Sam stood tall. "I am Captain Samuel Wright of the U.S. Defiant. We have evidence that the diplomatic assassination was planned by members of your own Confederation." Val's expression didn't change. "Impossible. You lie to save your primitive world." "We recovered data from one of your own ships," Sam replied. "But I won't simply send it to you. Our cultures are different. Humans prefer to handle important matters face to face." He took a breath, knowing his next words were a gamble. "I challenge you to meet with me, aboard my ship. Just you and a small security team. If you're as advanced and honorable as you claim, surely you're not afraid of a few humans." The alien commander seemed surprised. His eyes narrowed. "You dare challenge me? Your ship is tiny. Your weapons are weak." "Then you have nothing to fear," Sam said calmly. Powell whispered to Sam, "What are you doing, Captain?" Sam didn't answer her. He kept his eyes on Val, waiting. The alien commander finally nodded. "Very well. I accept your challenge. Prepare to receive my shuttle." When the screen went dark, the crew turned to Sam with questioning looks. "Captain, did you just invite the enemy commander onto our ship?" Bennett asked. Sam nodded. "While he's here, I need you all to work quickly. Sullivan, prepare the evidence for broadcast to all ships in the fleet. Garcia, be ready to jump us out of here if things go wrong." Powell, "Yes, Captain. Make sure our guests don't kill us." 20 minutes later, a small Confederation shuttle docked with the Defiant. Commander Val stepped aboard, flanked by 4 armed guards. Each alien stood over 7 feet tall, their bodies covered with natural armor. Sam welcomed them to the meeting room, hiding his fear behind a confident smile. Earth's fate now rested on his ability to convince these aliens that they had been deceived by their own leaders. The real battle was about to begin. Commander Vol towered over Captain Wright in the Defiance meeting room. The alien's eyes moved slowly around the space, studying everything. "Your ship is smaller than I expected," Vol said. His voice was deep and rumbling. Sam nodded. "We humans often work with less and accomplish more." "Show me this evidence you claim to have," Vol demanded. Sam signaled to Sullivan, who brought up the stolen data on a screen. "These are communications between high-ranking officials in your confederation. They show that the Vordax assassins were hired by someone in your own government." Vol barely looked at the screen. "This proves nothing. It could be fake." Outside the meeting room, Garcia was working frantically at his station. "The quantum drive is getting hot," he told Bennett. "If we need to escape, we'll have only one chance." Bennett wasn't listening. Her eyes were fixed on the sensor readings. "They're surrounding us again, and powering weapons." Back in the meeting room, Sam could tell the negotiations weren't working. Vol had no interest in the truth. "Even if this is real," the alien commander said, "it changes nothing. Earth will join the Confederation, by choice or by force." Sam took a deep breath. "Computer, activate Protocol Trojan." Vol looked confused. "What is?" Suddenly, the ship shook violently. Powell's voice came through the comm. "Captain, they're firing on us." The meeting was over. Vol and his guards reached for their weapons, but Powell and her security team were faster. They fired stun weapons, dropping 2 of the alien guards. The others, including Vile, retreated toward their shuttle. Sam ran to the bridge. "Status." "Protocol Trojan worked," Sullivan reported excitedly. "We successfully broadcast the evidence to every ship in the Confederation fleet. But now, they're really mad at us." "Shields at 64% and falling," Powell added as she entered the bridge. "Those energy weapons pack a punch." Sam took his command chair. "Garcia, is the Mobius shield ready?" The engineer nodded. "Yes, but it's never been tested in combat. No time like the present." "Activate it." Garcia pressed a sequence of controls. Outside the ship, a strange field formed around the Defiant. It shimmered like oil on water, bending light in impossible ways. The next Confederation blast hit them. And then something amazing happened. The energy weapon's power curved around the field and shot back toward the ship that fired it. The alien vessel's shields flared as it was hit by its own attack. "It works," Garcia shouted. "The quantum reflection is working." Bennett looked at her display. More ships firing. 3, 7, 12 incoming attacks. Everyone braced for impact, but the Mobius shield did its job. Each energy beam curved around the Defiant and returned to its source. Several Confederation ships showed damage. "They're confused," Sullivan said, monitoring enemy communications. "They don't understand what's happening." Sam saw their opportunity. "Bennett, prepare for multiple quantum jumps." Garcia's ghost ship maneuver. "Sir, that's only been simulated, never actually." "Do it," Sam ordered. "Make us appear in 5 locations at once." The quantum drive hummed loudly. Warning lights flashed on Garcia's console. "This will push the drive beyond safety limits." "Just hold it together for 1 minute," Sam told him. "That's all we need." The Defiant seemed to flicker. Using rapid microjumps, Bennett made the ship appear briefly in multiple locations. To the Confederation fleet, it looked like there were suddenly 5 Defiant ships moving in different directions. "They're splitting their fire," Powell announced. "The confusion is working." Sullivan studied the enemy fleet formation. "Captain, I'm noticing something. Their ships are arranged by species rank, not tactical advantage. There's a gap in their pattern we can exploit." "Show me," Sam said. Sullivan highlighted a section of the enemy formation. "If we target these communication nodes here, we can disrupt coordination between different species ships." Sam nodded. Bennett, take us in. Powell, target those nodes precisely. The Defiant dove into the heart of the enemy fleet, firing concentrated pulses at the weak points Sullivan had identified. One by one, sections of the Confederation fleet fell into disarray. Sir, Bennett called out, some enemy ships are breaking formation. There, they appear to be protecting us. Sullivan confirmed it. The evidence broadcast worked. Some captains believe us. They're questioning their orders. For the first time since the mission began, Sam allowed himself a small smile. One human ship was turning the tide against an alien armada. Then a massive explosion rocked the Defiant. The blast threw Captain Samuel Wright against his chair. Warning lights flashed across every console on the bridge. Damage report, he shouted over the blaring alarms. Garcia's face was grim as he checked his readings. The quantum drive is overheating. We can't keep doing these jumps much longer. Shields down to 31%, Powell added. One more direct hit like that, and we're done. Sam knew they couldn't win this fight. Despite their success so far, they were still one ship against hundreds. They needed a new approach. Sullivan, what's the status of the nearby territories? Are there any neutral zones we can reach? The science officer checked his data. Yes. The Myriad Collective maintains a neutral zone about 1 light-year from here. They've refused to join the Confederation war effort. Can we make it there? Garcia hesitated. One more quantum jump. Maybe. But it's risky. More risky than staying here. Sam asked as another blast shook the ship. Bennett's hands were already moving across her console. I've plotted the jump coordinates to the Myriad border. Do it, Sam ordered. The quantum drive whined loudly, sounding strained. The stars outside blurred, then reformed in a new pattern. The firing stopped. We made it, Bennett said with relief. We're in Myriad space. The view screen showed a very different scene. Instead of warships, there were elegant stations and sleek vessels with no visible weapons. The Myriad were known for their strict neutrality and advanced observation technology. They watched galactic politics but rarely participated. We're being hailed, Sullivan announced. A new face appeared on screen, humanoid, but with delicate features and skin that seemed to shimmer with different colors. Human vessel, I am Coordinator Tella of the Myriad Collective. Your arrival is unexpected, especially given the conflict currently unfolding. Sam stepped forward. Coordinator, I am Captain Samuel Wright of the U.S. Defiant. We seek temporary asylum and request an emergency audience with your council. Tella's expression remained neutral. For what purpose? We have evidence that the Confederation's war against Earth is based on deception. Some of their own leaders orchestrated the crisis to justify invasion. The Myriad coordinator was silent for a moment. This is a serious claim. Do you have proof? Sullivan sent the data package they'd stolen. Tella's eyes moved rapidly as she reviewed the information on her end. This requires consideration, she finally said. You may dock at Station Harmony. Your ship needs repairs, and your crew appears injured. The transmission ended, and Sam let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Did that just work? Powell asked, sounding surprised. The Myriad value truth and observation above all else, Sullivan explained. If our evidence is genuine, which it is, they'll feel compelled to act as neutral witnesses. Over the next 12 hours, the Defiant underwent emergency repairs while Sam and Sullivan prepared their case. The Myriad provided medical care for injured crew members and technical assistance to Garcia as he worked to stabilize the damaged quantum drive. The Myriad have technology that's even more advanced than the Confederation, Garcia told Sam with awe. Yet they choose not to use it for war. They're helping me understand parts of our drive I never fully grasped. Meanwhile, Sullivan worked with Myriad translators to ensure their evidence would be understood by all species. The Galactic Assembly includes 57 different civilizations, he explained, each with their own language and cultural context. Bennett organized the data into a clear narrative. We need to show how the conspiracy unfolded, make it impossible to deny. Powell trained the crew on diplomatic protocols. A wrong gesture could be seen as an insult. We need to be perfect. On the second day, word arrived. The Myriad Council had convened an emergency session of the Galactic Assembly. Representatives from dozens of worlds, including the Confederation, would hear Earth's case. As Sam prepared to address the assembly, he received one more piece of news. The Confederation fleet had arrived at the border of Myriad space. They were demanding the return of the rogue human vessel. Sam straightened his uniform. One ship against an army had seemed impossible. Now, one human captain would face the representatives of 57 alien civilizations. The real battle was just beginning. The Galactic Assembly Hall was enormous. 57 different species sat in curved rows that rose high above the central speaking platform. Some aliens looked almost human. Others were so strange that Sam couldn't tell which part was their face. Captain Samuel Wright stood on the platform, feeling small. Commander Val and 3 other Confederation leaders sat directly across from him, their expressions cold and angry. The Assembly recognizes Captain Samuel Wright of Earth, announced Coordinator Tella of the Myriad. Her voice echoed through the vast chamber. You may present your case. Sam took a deep breath. Respected representatives, Earth is a young world. We only recently discovered faster-than-light travel. We came to the galactic community seeking friendship, not war. He activated the holographic display Sullivan had prepared. These records show that our diplomatic mission was sabotaged by members of the Confederation itself. The Vordax assassins were hired by officials who wanted a reason to attack Earth. Angry shouts erupted from the Confederation section. Val stood up. This is human deception. They create fake evidence to escape justice. Before Sam could respond, a flash of energy shot across the hall. It missed his head by inches. Security officers rushed to subdue an alien in the lower rows who had fired a concealed weapon. The hall erupted in chaos. Assembly members shouted accusations. Some demanded Sam's immediate removal. Coordinator Tella raised her hands for silence. This assassination attempt will be investigated. Who would resort to violence unless they feared the truth? The room gradually quieted. All eyes turned to the Confederation leaders, who looked uncomfortable. Continue, Captain Wright, Tella said. Sam nodded. The attack on me just now proves my point. Someone is desperate to silence us. He turned to face the entire assembly. But why? Why is Earth so important to the Confederation? We have asked ourselves this question since the crisis began. He gestured to Sullivan, who joined him on the platform. The science officer activated a second holographic display. We found the answer in the deepest part of the stolen data. Sullivan explained. It's not about Earth's resources or territory. It's about humans themselves. The display showed brain scan comparisons between humans and various alien species. Certain patterns in the human brains were highlighted. Human neural patterns contain a unique structure, Sullivan continued. According to these records, this structure is the key to unlocking ancient technology left by a civilization called the Precursors. Gasps echoed through the hall. Even some Confederation representatives looked shocked. An alien with 4 eyes stood up. The Precursors are a myth. Not according to the Confederation's Secret Research Division, Sam responded. He displayed more evidence. They discovered precursor ruins 20 years ago, but couldn't activate the technology. Then they found Earth and realized human brains might be the key. Sullivan highlighted specific communications. Rather than approaching us as equals, they planned to invade Earth and take human subjects for experiments. They would use us like tools, not treat us as partners. The assembly erupted again, but this time with expressions of disgust and outrage. Many representatives were appalled by the ethical violations. A tall, thin alien rose from the middle rows. If this is true, it violates the founding principles of the Confederation. No species may be harvested for biological resources. Commander Val looked increasingly uncomfortable as more evidence appeared. Representatives from his own alliance began moving away from him. Then an elderly alien stood up. Sam recognized him as a high-ranking Confederation scientist from the stolen files. "The human speaks the truth," the scientist said quietly. "I was part of the research team. We found precursor technology that responds only to human neural patterns. But I never agreed to invasion. We should have approached Earth peacefully." The admission sent shockwaves through the assembly. More Confederation officials began to speak up, some confirming the plot, others denying knowledge of it. Sam watched as the united front of the Confederation crumbled before his eyes. The coalition that had threatened Earth with extinction was falling apart. "The question now," Sam said, addressing the entire assembly, "is what happens next." 3 weeks later, the U.S. Defiant approached Earth. The blue planet looked peaceful from space, its people still unaware of how close they had come to extinction. Captain Samuel Wright stood on the bridge, watching his home grow larger on the view screen. The crew was quiet, each lost in their own thoughts about all they had experienced. "I still can't believe it worked," Lieutenant Bennett said, breaking the silence. Sam nodded. "One ship, one chance." He smiled faintly. "Even I had doubts." The final session of the Galactic Assembly had lasted 2 full days. Intense debates, accusations, and even physical fights had broken out among the representatives. In the end, the Assembly had voted to suspend the war authorization against Earth. The Confederation fleet was ordered to withdraw. But Sam had suggested something more, a solution that would benefit everyone. Instead of hiding the truth about human neural patterns and precursor technology, he proposed a voluntary research partnership. Humans would work with alien scientists as equals, not test subjects. "We're being hailed," Sullivan announced. "It's Space Command." General Martinez appeared on screen. His stern face showed a rare smile. "Welcome home, Captain Wright. Mission accomplished." "Thank you, sir. Request permission to enter Earth orbit." "Granted. The President is waiting to speak with you." "The whole world is waiting, actually." Sam raised an eyebrow. "The whole world." "We had to tell them something when a massive alien fleet appeared and then suddenly left. You and your crew are about to become very famous." 3 days of debriefings followed. Military leaders, scientists, and government officials all wanted to hear the story of how one ship had saved Earth. When Sam suggested they keep some details classified, the President disagreed. "People need to know the truth," she said firmly. "They need to understand our new place in the galaxy." 1 month later, Sam stood in a large auditorium, watching Earth sign its first official treaty with the Galactic Assembly. The document established Earth as a protected neutral world, similar to the Myriad. It also created the Joint Precursor Research Initiative, where human volunteers would work with alien scientists to study the ancient technology. After the ceremony, Sam met with his crew one last time before they received their new assignments. "I've been asked to lead the new Quantum Navigation Academy," Bennett told them. "We're going to teach pilots how to think creatively, not just follow standard procedures." Powell smiled. "I'm establishing a diplomatic security corps. After our experience, we need people who understand alien cultures and can still handle themselves in a fight." "I'll be working with the research initiative," Sullivan said, "making sure humans are treated ethically. We can learn from the precursors without becoming lab rats." Garcia seemed the most excited. "The Myriad shared some of their technology with us. I'm heading a team to develop the next generation of quantum drives. What we did by accident, we'll now do on purpose." Sam listened proudly. Each of them would carry forward lessons from their mission. "What about you, Captain?" Bennett asked. "I heard you were offered an admiral position." Sam shook his head. "I turned it down. They're rebuilding the Defiant with new technology. I asked to remain her captain." Later, as he stood alone on the observation deck of the space station, Sam looked out at the stars. Earth was building a small fleet now. 12 ships with hybrid human-alien technology. Not an army, but a presence. The U.S. Defiant would lead this new fleet. a reminder to the galaxy that humans shouldn't be underestimated. Sometimes, one ship was all you needed, if it carried the right people with the right ideas at the right moment. In the vast history of space, many worlds had tried to solve problems by sending massive forces. Earth had proven there was another way. They had thought humanity would send an army. One ship had proven them wrong.